Today I'll be speaking with Suzzette Jarman of Meals on Wheels in Orange County, North Carolina. We'll be discussing community partnerships, the changes that came after COVID, and the challenges of fundraising. I'm Dave Colling, and we'll have all that and more on this episode of Behind the Meal. Hello, and welcome to Behind the Meal. Join me as we delve into the stories behind Meals on Wheels, meeting the incredible people who make it all happen. Well, here we are. Today we're joined by Suzzette Jarman, Operations Manager at Meals on Wheels, Orange County, North Carolina. Suzzette has dedicated nearly 6 years to Orange County, North Carolina Meals on Wheels, making a significant impact through her work, benefiting both those she serves and her colleagues. And I can't wait to talk to her about her work she's doing and the community she is serving. Thank you for joining, and hello.
Thank you for having me today.
Well, it's good to have you and talk about your work you're doing. And as we go forward with this program, it's been fun to hear all the similarities and differences we all in all our work that we're doing. And I'm sure you'll be adding to that story. Tell us just a little bit about the community that you're serving, what your program looks like, that kind of thing.
We are in Orange County, North Carolina. So we serve Chapel Hill, Carborough, and Hillsborough. We have a pretty good mix of rural clients and suburban and some urban areas as well. We serve from 2 locations, and from both locations together, we serve about 225 people on any given day across hot meals, frozen meals, shelf-stable items, and frozen boxes.
And we're talking about your rural and urban areas. Is that kind of your distinction when you say you're serving from 2 spaces?
Yeah, so we have a southern location and a northern location. Our northern location is predominantly rural, so stops between clients maybe 5 or 10 miles. Wow. And in southern Orange County, some of the stops are 5 minutes down the road or right next door to their neighbors.
For sure. Well, how many routes are you going out today then? I imagine some of those routes can't have too many stops on them if you're 10, 15 minutes each.
Yeah. So we have 15 routes that serve southern Orange County, and those routes vary anywhere from 4 people to 20 people. And in northern Orange County, we have 8 routes that go out every day, and those have about between 7 and 10 people on each of the routes.
I assume primarily you're serving seniors, as most of us are. Who are some of the other folks that you're serving beyond that?
So we are not federally funded. We are funded by private donations, private donors, and grants that were awarded. So that can be a double-edged sword at times, but we do have some more flexibility in who we're able to serve. Mm-hmm. So we also serve those that are younger than 60 that have disabilities, or those that are convalescing, so just getting out of the hospital, that may need meals we will serve them for up to 4 weeks.
Are you working with the hospitals directly or insurance companies, both, or just on your own?
Just on our own. We do have a good relationship with the hospital. UNC, Go Tar Heels, is right around the corner from us. So we do try to connect with them. They are a huge network, though, and we are very small. So that's one of the big challenges that we have in getting referrals from them, is that we only serve in Orange County and UNC is statewide. But they do have some people in their local offices that will refer people to us that are just being released from the hospital.
Do you, are there other home delivered meal programs around you that are kind of picking that slack up, or is there kind of a gap between you and other spaces in the state?
There is a gap between us and other spaces in the state. So in Orange County Specifically, there are
Hmm.
actually three Meals on Wheels locations. So we have our two locations. And then in the city proper of Hillsborough, there is a third Meals on Wheels there that is independent of us that serves just people in Hillsborough. And their requirements are a little bit different than what our requirements are. So we do have some crossover there on who we're able to serve with that organization. But
Hmm.
again, they're very small, so they also do not do a lot with the hospital.
Okay. What you mentioned you're not taking federal funding. I assume you're talking about the Title III Older Americans Act dollars. So I am jealous of the lack of paperwork that you have to do. Although I'm sure you still have a lot. What are some of your funding sources? Do you work with any government funding sources?
We receive grants from the city of Chapel Hill and the city of Carrboro
Mm,
and Orange County proper. We receive some funding from them, but predominantly, I would say 80% of our funding comes from private donors in the community.
oh, that's great. And you were there through the COVID years. What
Yeah.
what did you see a big difference in? Well, I'll stick with the fundraising for now, I guess. And where the funding was coming from, and where how much was coming in, those kinds of things. Certainly, a lot more was going out, I assume.
Yes. So I actually started in December of 2019.
Mm,
So just when I started learning what I was actually doing, everything changed because of COVID. And because we were a small organization, when all of the funding started pouring in from COVID,
hmm.
it went to our Department on Aging, which is county based, county owned and operated. And the funding would trickle down to us, but we actually just got our last COVID money spent this year. We received
Okay.
a grant from the Department on Aging, our local Department on
Hmm.
Aging, for the last little bit of COVID money that we had. We went from serving 140 people in December, and by April of 2020, we were up to 220 people.
And where are you at now?
Right now, from my office, we're at about
Yeah,
150, 160. Our numbers are actually down right now. So we're working on new methods to be able to bring some more people in because we know the need is out there.
for sure. Well, talking about COVID, what did you see a lot of structural change within your organization as well?
Yes. So we actually went from delivering hot meals 5 days a week
Yeah.
to delivering 1 day a week on Thursdays. And I live the farthest out from all of the staff members. So it was actually all of the other staff members that jumped in each Thursday to be present in the office
Hmm.
to make sure that those meals got out. And we also did all of our setup outside after COVID hit.
Have you returned to all hot meals, or some folks stayed with their frozens, or that's a
Some of
lot
our
of
people,
folks. I know a lot of like here in Minneapolis area, people were kind of like the convenience of not having to be home at that exact time every day. And they're like, "Can we stay on the frozen?" And we saw a lot of that happen.
we definitely did as well. We tried very hard to make it seem like it was not optional to go back to the hot meal. So we would move them to hot meals, and then when they would call and ask about going back to the frozen meals, we would switch them back to the frozen meals. But we tried very hard to make sure that everybody got back to the hot meals because of the daily check-in, because
Hmm.
of the socialization and being able to have somebody check in every day.
What are some of the as we look at now the issues where you know funding issues, even if you're not getting federal dollars, there's funding issues are affecting everybody right now as we lose, as you mentioned, COVID dollars are drying up or have dried up for just about everybody. And but yet, the need's still out there. Are there any, what are some of the challenges you're facing when you look at that? Some of those, what's keeping you, I guess, from, or what's your holdup for expanding? What are you looking at? What is your need to get out there? And, if I had this or that, we could really get back to those folks that need it most.
One of the things that we're doing right now is we are bringing on a full-time development manager or development person to be able to reach all of our donors, be able to reach some of the higher dollar donors and form those connections and build those relationships to be able to increase the amount of dollars that we're bringing in to be able to serve people.
So really that bottleneck for you, as you see it right now, is just funding.
Yes, most definitely. Our system is set up in such a way that if we had 220 people again, we'd be able to serve them all. And we want to make sure that if we do suddenly get 220 more people, that it's sustainable long term as we continue to grow and expand. We've also did a lot of work with student groups at UNC in the public health degree program to do research projects for us to sort of target where the food deserts are, where people are living that are not able to get to grocery stores, are not able to have family come in and help them. And also some marketing students to be able to figure out how do we get our information out to the people that need it the most.
It's a great partnership to have. I'm guessing they don't cost very much.
No, they don't. We actually are at this current time, we have 4 student groups that are working with us. And a lot of them also, not only do we get the benefit of them doing research, they also have volunteer hour requirements for their classes. So we also get the volunteer hours with them as well, the sweat equity.
What kind of volunteer? Where are you getting your volunteers from? And what's your number look like?
So we have about 400 volunteers in any given year that volunteer with us. And a lot of it is word of mouth. Someone's friend volunteers, someone's neighbor volunteers and says, hey, come with me and do a ride along. Or we're looking for somebody to fill an open volunteer spot. Would you like to come with or try it out? We also do a lot of outreach to local businesses. Again, UNC is very close to us. So their Lindbergh Cancer Center volunteers once a month with us. We also have a relationship with the Chapel Hill Police Department where they send 2 officers every 4th Thursday to volunteer with us. The UNC School of Government volunteers with us and sends volunteers every other week to deliver a route.
It's funny when that question comes up. We always hear about police departments and fire departments and the folks going out. It's been great to hear that. So if anybody's out there, they're not getting their local police involved, get out there, call them. Not 911, just call the regular number. But what when you're looking at the seniors you're serving right now, has there been any big changes over the last few years in those populations or?
Most definitely. So we've seen an increase in seniors needing home repairs as far as not being able to keep up on the upkeep of their homes. We've also seen an increase in seniors that are having issues with an accumulation of stuff in their house because they don't have either the resources to have someone help them keep up on it or the ability to be able to keep up on the things that are coming into the home.
Are most of your folks in individual homes, single family homes or apartment buildings?
I would say we have a pretty good combination between single family homes and apartment complexes. We also see a lot of intergenerational households where it's grandparents, mom and dad, and kids all living in the same house in our area.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, when you see some of these issues, you mentioned maybe a hoarding issue or home repairs, things like that. Do you have partners you're referring them to, or do you do some of that work, or how does that work?
We do not do any of the work ourselves. Orange County has Orange County Coalition for Housing, and they work with 5 or 6 other nonprofits in the area
Hmm.
to create a list of seniors and other people, other homeowners in the area that need minor home repairs. The big issue with it, we do refer to them,
Mm-hmm.
but the big issue is a substantial wait list. It's about 18 months right now
Wow.
from when we make the referral to when someone is actually able to receive assistance.
Okay. That is a long way, especially for a lot of the seniors that are, we're just trying to keep them in their homes as long as we can. Are there any particular moments or anything you could think of, or some stories from the road that you've experienced or others have that really kind of encapsulate the work that you're doing?
One of my favorite stories from my time was at the very beginning. We do a Christmas Eve meal where we partner with a local church. They donate all of the food and we deliver a hot meal. And one of my clients, right before Christmas, had a house fire and lost everything in her house and was put into a hotel. And she had called the office. She knew she was getting a meal. And she said she didn't have a Christmas tree. She had lost everything and didn't have a Christmas tree. So, myself, my husband, and my daughter, we always try to go out on a route on Christmas Eve. And I asked specifically to be put on that route. And we took a small Christmas tree, nothing elaborate or fancy,
Sure.
but we took a small Christmas tree to her, set it up for her, and decorated it in the hotel just so she had a little bit of holiday cheer while she was going through everything.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it kind of shows everything that we do without it's well beyond the meal and beyond our job description, so to speak, sometimes too. What when you're looking at we talked a little bit about the partnerships and community organizations that you're working with. You know, is that something that's more recent, or do again, looking at COVID, just how much it changed so much of the work that we do and who we work with. Did you see a growth in that as well over the last few years?
A lot of our partnerships fell off during COVID, like I
Mm-hmm.
believe they did for most people. So probably within the last 3 years, as we've sort of came out of COVID,
Yeah.
we've did a lot of work in rebuilding those partnerships. Recently, we've partnered with local vets to provide pet care, and we've partnered with the local animal shelters to be able to get donations of pet food
Hmm.
for our pet program. We also partner with a local flower farm in our county to be able to provide fresh flowers throughout the summer for all of our clients. We have an art group that we work with that provides greeting cards, homemade, handmade greeting cards for all of our clients that we send out once a week. So there's really been a large movement towards partnership and working with these organizations that are doing other things that our clients could benefit for and building those programs up and creating those relationships again.
Wow. And, look, when I was looking at your website earlier, you've got a pretty big list of partners. And you mentioned that made me think of it, the pet food that you're working with as well. One that caught my eye, I'm just curious if you're even still working with them, but there was the Interfaith Food Shuttle. And tell me a little bit about that and what that looks like and the work that you do with them.
Yeah. So the Interfaith Food Shuttle is actually our caterer, and
Okay.
they're another nonprofit. And one of the things that they do is they provide career training in culinary disciplines. So we get the benefit of them bearing the brunt of paying for those programs. And we're lucky in that we only have to pay for our food. We don't pay for labor. We don't pay for overhead by getting our meals from them. And they also do a lot of other things that we've just sort of started touching into, such as senior education. They also do shelf stable bags once a month for seniors in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have food banks that at some point in time we'd love to try to get tapped into as well.
Well, speaking of, things you're looking at in the future, what are some of the plans you would like to see take place, or near future or long term, besides just finding some more money?
So we are in the midst of translating all of our documents into other languages to be able to reach the refugee community in Orange County, North Carolina. We're
Mm-hmm.
also trying to partner with some organizations that have a focus on the Hispanic population to be able to reach those clients and not just reach them, but provide culturally appropriate food,
Sure.
because what we eat may not be what they eat. And we'd like to be able to expand our offerings to be able to give them something that they would recognize and that they would actually enjoy eating.
Well, yeah, that's been a big growth for, it seems like, for everybody, not just that particular community, but just communities everywhere. Is that culturally specific, culturally appropriate meals, and reaching out to everyone that needs it. What what's some of the things you wish more folks knew about maybe Meals on Wheels in general, or the program you're at?
One of the big things is I wish people saw more of the value, not just in the meal, but in the
Mm-hmm.
extras,
Yeah.
the daily visit. These clients, as we deliver to them as our volunteers are on the same route for years, they get to know not only our client, but their children and their grandchildren. And when there's no one else around, Meals on Wheels is still there. We're still delivering in the middle of a hurricane, in the middle of a snowstorm. We're getting to the office to make sure that these people are taken care of and checked on. And we try to do everything we can to meet the need that is out there.
Wow. Yeah, that makes me think too. The work that you're doing, and just that like you mentioned, that you're there every day. What does it look like on just a day, a day in the life at Orange County Meals on Wheels? What's that look like for either you or a volunteer, or kind of everybody there?
So we start pretty early. I arrive at the office at 8:30 to open the door, and we start with setup, and then we have a setup crew of volunteers that come in around 9:15 that set up all of our meals, to
Mm-hmm.
divide up everything for the routes. Because we're not federally funded, we have the ability to tailor what people are getting. So we have people that don't drink milk, or they don't like apples, or they don't like bananas, or they only like bananas. And so we're able to customize that and make sure people are getting the food that they actually want. At 10:30, once everything's been packed up and counted and double counted and sometimes triple counted, we have sort of a drive-through system where our drivers will pull up, our setup volunteers load the vehicles, and then our drivers are out on the routes from 10:30 to 12:30 making their deliveries. They return to the office and break down all of their stuff, return their bags,
Mm-hmm.
and inform me of any changes to clients, anything that we might need to follow up with. And then I spend my afternoons usually going back through and reading the notes that drivers have put for their clients that day and following up with those.
And is it, when you mentioned where you're getting the meals from the interfaith organization? Are they delivering them to you, or are you is this all in the same place?
They deliver them to us. They're actually located in Raleigh, North Carolina. So it's about 30 minutes from them to us, and they actually deliver them to both our Chapel Hill office and our Hillsborough office each day.
They coming in frozen or cold, and you're heating them up then?
They come in hot.
Oh, okay.
We
Even
actually,
better.
yep, we have a warmer that when I get there in the morning, I make sure the warmer's turned on before the caterer gets there. And then the caterer interfaith food shuttle is responsible for getting them all into the warmer until our setup volunteers take them out at 10 o'clock.
Okay. And what brought you to, what was your path to working at a Meals on Wheels program or nonprofits in general? What made you decide to kind of head down that road?
I actually stumbled into it on accident. I previously was living in Alaska and working for a furniture company remotely doing contract work, and moved back down to North Carolina from Alaska. And my manager at the other office said, I know somebody that's looking for an office manager. I think you'd be a good fit. Would you be interested? And I said yes, and ended up at Meals on Wheels and have loved it ever since, and have been there 6 years now.
Well, and like you said, your role has probably changed quite a bit, even in those early days, as everyone's did. And I started at Metro Meals on Wheels here in Minneapolis in February of 2020. So we were, I tell folks, I was in the office for 1 month, and then I worked in home for a year.
Yep.
And it's just, and everything just changed in that period of time for everyone. So no, everyone's path is always a little different to how they got here. So are you from North Carolina?
I'm actually from Michigan. I bounced back and forth between the two for a while,
Okay.
and growing up and going to college, and decided that North Carolina was going to be home. I refer to the area that I live. It's a very small area, but I live in Raleigh, and I refer to it as the triangle inside the triangle.
Well, if there's anybody out there listening that wants to get involved with your organization, or maybe help those funding issues that might be coming up, what's the best way they can get in touch with you or the program?
So the easiest way is always our website, which is mowocnc.org. That will go to our website, and there's a volunteer section. There's also a section to be able to donate to our organization as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I just want to say thank you for coming. It was great to see you at the Meals on Wheels conference, and great to meet everybody there. Hopefully you got some stuff out of that as well. As we've talked a little bit here on the show before about the wait list was their big mantra this year. So, hopefully we can all take that back with us and get more meals out to those that need them.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you, Suzzette, for the work and enthusiasm you bring to Meals on Wheels. As senior populations become more diverse, like those Suzzette is serving, it becomes more important to diversify the kind of meals being served. Like Suzzette said, we have to deliver the kind of food people want to eat if Meals on Wheels is going to live up to its mission. Thank you again for listening. Please share and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes of Behind the Meal.